Hello, my name is Christoph Zapletal, and today I want us to take a quick look at the new Power Mesh functionality inside of Mocha Pro 2021. Now this is a clip from one of my previous beauty courses on fxphd, and what I did in this course was basically use planar tracking to pre-stabilize various parts of the face, work on them, and then invert this stabilization. So that's a pretty common and well-tested workflow. However, it has got one really big drawback, and that is the human face is by nature not a planar surface, not at all. We've got a lot of organic movement and deformations going on, and this is something a planar tracker traditionally can't handle very well. Well, this is something the new Power Mesh functionality should address, so let's take a look how that works out. So I'm going to stop that clip, and what I want us to tackle is this area here, the T-zone, really up here. So let's prep this for some beauty work so that we can see how well it stabilizes. So I'm inside of Nuke here, as you might have guessed, and I've got an OFX version of Mocha Pro running here, and I'm going to launch the Mocha UI. And there you see I already got two holdout shapes here. One for the hand, because the hand at one point obscures that area a little bit, and also one for the shadow, because the hand drops a rather hard shadow on the forehead, and that might interfere with our mesh track. So to set up a mesh track, it's pretty easy really. You draw up a shape with one of your favorite shape tools in Mocha. I'm going to use an X-spline here, and just like you would with a rigid surface, define that shape. As I said, we're going to work on the T-zone, so I'm going to include little bits of the nose here, really like that. Now this is not really a planar shape. We've got a lot of deformation, especially to the sides, and also, as you could have seen in the playback at the beginning, we really get this frown going on, which intensifies once her forehead goes up. So in that regard, I'm a little bit more loose in my shape than I would have been with a classical planar track. But otherwise, I'm setting up my shape exactly like I did before in Mocha. The difference starts here now down in the track tab. I've got a new option, which is called Mesh. So if I click that, Mocha generates a subplanar mesh. So inside the shape of my planar surface, Mocha tries to identify various areas to split this up as a mesh. If I don't like what Mocha comes up with, I've got the option to change this to a uniform mesh, like that. And I can also decide to have the vertices either on top of my spline or just inside my spline. I'm going to go with what we had before, automatic and vertices on spline, like that. This will suit me well for my task. What I also need to take care of course, is besides proper naming, I'll call this mesh track forehead, that I also put this below my holdout mats, otherwise they wouldn't take effect. And I'm making sure that just the cog on the mesh track for it is active, because I don't want Mocha to retrack my holdout shapes. So with that all set up, we can now perform our track. So first in the one direction, like so, and then in the other. And you can already see that the tracker behaves not like you would expect your typical planar track. So the track that's going on inside the shape is actually not the same result as you would have tracked without a mesh. So now we can do a number of things with this. We could export this as an alembic to Nuke or Cinema or whatever application we choose. We could also use this warp data to further drive a shape, for example, for Roto. But what I want to do, as I said in the introduction, I want to do the classical stabilize, invert stabilize workflow. So for that, we head over to the Stabilize tab, and we've now got this warp mapping area here where we can select Mesh Warp and ask Mocha to unwarp the whole image. Now I'm going to switch off my UI here, and like so. So now we can take a look at the stabilized image. Now down here, I can select the render quality of the unwarp. So right now it's at draft, and you probably will gonna see some distortions or overlaps going on. Actually, the quality is okay-ish, I would say. But for good measure, let's pull this up to high. Get a little bit better unwarping. But now we got this forward section really pinned down. And now we can save our setup, quit the Mocha UI. And inside the Mocha plugin, we're going to select the module renders, and we're going to select stabilize, unwarp, and hit the render checkbox. And now Mocha is supplying us with our stabilized plate. So now I can go in here and very quickly do my various retouches. So as you can see, I did a quick pre-render of our stabilization and our rotor paint, because what I found is if you stack multiple of these Mocha Pro FX plugins on top of each other, then your host application, at least in my case, can get a little bit laggy. So I did a quick pre-render on that. And now what you basically just need to do to invert the process is copy your plugin. Don't even have to enter Mocha to do that. Hook it up to your pre-render and change the stabilize from unwarp to warp. And now if we check to our original footage, you can see the retouch is applied. Now we can quickly cache that. And there we go. So all in all, I think this is a great feature and something definitely to explore. Of course, there are the most obvious use cases like skin, like I showed you, or fabrics or paper. But I think there's much more to it, especially with the ability to export to Alembic. This opens up a whole plethora of new workflows. So I think it should be fun to see what the community comes up with in regards to workflow. So I hope you enjoyed this little quick look at the new Power Mesh inside of Mocha 2021. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.